Mike O'Mara Radio Entertainment.
Today's episode of The Mike O'Mara Show is brought to you by our bonus packages. Please go to MikeO'MaraShow.com and click on the bonus banner. You'll get access to all of our bonus content, and even better, you'll be helping out TMOS. So please quit sucking, and we thank you.
Available on demand every day in iTunes and the Google Play Store, and around the world on MikeO'MaraShow.com. What more can we do for you? It's The Mike O'Mara Show.
I missed so much on the show. I didn't get to so much on the show, and I have so much for the show today that sometimes I am so loaded that I just don't know where to begin. We could dive immediately into Oscar's World, because there's some fresh stuff on Oscar's World that I could talk about, and Oscar's got a world that we got. We could get right back to the Yak Shack because we only got halfway through our yaks. We could talk about old movies because I wanted to talk about that yesterday, and then last night I did it again and watched probably my favorite old movie from 1967. Rob's old movies are back in the 30s. Mine are, you go back to the 60s and 70s.
I enjoy some stuff from the 60s and 70s.
Oh, you enjoy it from right up
to
the 90s?
I'll catch an airplane movie once in a while. What is that considered?
An old movie?
That's an old movie for me. Like Airplane will come on.
Like the movie Airplane? Yeah,
old,
that's
right?
82.
Airplane's an old movie.
82!
Yeah, but I saw it in the theater, so for me, it can never really, truly be old if I saw it in the theater.
Anything over 20 years old, would it be safe to say anything over 20 years old is an old movie?
I don't know, because then that's 20 years old is 1999. That seems fairly recent to me.
Then let's go 30. That
Okay,
would be
30.
1980. No,
Yeah,
let's
30.
go 40 years old.
Okay, 40, that'd be
I don't know
79.
anything.
79 then.
Oh, I was...
Because here, 89, Touchstone movie for me, 89 is the Michael Keaton Batman. Is that an old movie?
Ugh. You know what? Now I want you to go older because all these movies that are modern, that are not.
Okay, let's say 40 and say 79.
That's an old movie. The 89 movie is an old movie.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, so I go back and I see that Cool Hand Luke was on TCM last night. Cool Hand Luke was 1967. I was 40.
I finally saw it, by the way. I finally saw Cool Hand Luke.
You saw Cool Hand Luke.
You talked about it on the show.
Well, this is phenomenal because I watched Cool Hand Luke. I watched Cool Hand Luke last night, and
I don't know if I told
brilliant.
you. I don't know if I told you this. Did you know? And it was a weird revelation for me that the soundtrack to Cool Hand Luke was for years used as the theme to Eyewitness News ABC in New York City. Do you remember this from the score of Cool Hand Luke? It's part of a bigger piece.
That's the Escape.
Yes, but they use it
That's
for news.
Escape music for Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah.
The best. It's so fresh now.
I was shocked.
It's a great piece of music.
I was shocked for two reasons. One, it didn't involve a masseuse because I thought it was about massages.
Oh, that would be Warm Hand.
Cool Hand Luke,
Yeah,
like
'cause I
happy
was like,
ending and stuff like that.
No. Nobody likes a masseuse with cold hands. So I was like, I can see this going
Bob
crazy.
Kraft is Cool Hand
No,
Luke.
Hey, that hurts.
Ow!
He's not giving the massages.
Well, in the movie he is. It's not real life. Come on.
All right, let's turn that music down now because I want to
ask.
ask. So you saw it recently?
I saw it recently. They played it on, I don't think it was Turner Classic Movies. It had to be like TNT.
No,
this
Turner
was on
shows
Turner
it.
Classic Music and movies, and it was unedited. It was completely unedited, which is great. Well, Rob and I were talking before the show about TCM, which is where I'm going to lately. It's maybe because I'm old, who knows? But what were your impressions of the movie? I think the movie holds up amazingly well.
Robert Redford looked great when he was
Not
young.
It's not
in
Robert
the movie.
Redford. It's Paul Newman.
I'm sorry.
It's Paul Newman.
Paul Newman looked great in the movie. I don't remember him as a young man. And all I remember him is as
That's his prime right there. 1967 is when he was hitting
a
on all
salad
that.
dressing magnate.
Right.
And
Great lemonade.
That's the guy I knew of. And then I learned a lot more about him as a race car driver later on in life. But I didn't know him as this prolific actor as a young man.
Did a race car movie, Paul Newman.
Yes.
That's how he got the interest in it. That's how he did it.
So, and then I think we might have mentioned this on the show, that I watched this show on Velocity Channel, I think it is. It's Chasing Classic Cars. And the
Jay Leno show?
No, this gentleman runs around the country finding classic cars, and one of them is a Paul Newman Volvo. That's a Volvo station wagon that Paul Newman took the Volvo engine out and put a 750 horsepower engine inside the Volvo and a new suspension to make sure he could handle that engine. But nobody knew what it was because he'd just drive around the back roads, and then he'd be going like 120 miles an hour.
There's a guy down here. I will not mention his name because I want to protect his privacy. Besides, he's a He's a rich guy. Played golf with him last week. This guy is plus 80, 84 maybe, something like that, 82, 80, somewhere like in that 82 range. And this guy is extremely successful. Been retired for a while. He's a car dude. He's the only guy in our community that has these special cars. And he was talking about first time I noticed this guy. He had a Ferrari he's driving around, and we don't. Everybody there are people that are up here and people that are down here. You don't see a Ferrari in this neighborhood. You just don't. And he's the only guy. Then he's got a classic Porsche that he's got, this old Porsche he's got. And he's got his driving around car is an Audi, he says, this guy. And you know what he's going to do? I said, well, how do you like that? He said, yeah, I'm going to have my driving around car. I said, what's that going to be? He said he's having an air conditioning system put in a Studebaker.
What? Upgrading a classic car.
And that is going to be his driving around car.
I love it.
And the guy is plus 80.
I got to meet this guy.
What's his handicap?
He's a pretty good golfer.
He probably shoots under his age when you're that
plus
old.
80. You know. By the way, if you want to ask me what I'm going to look like when I'm 80, I'll give you an audio example of what I'm going to look like. There you go. All right. And now imagine the wind blowing across the grass field where the headstones are. That's
Mike, if you get plus 80, you're going to need an air conditioning system too, but it's more of a cooler.
I recently you said the name Porsche the correct way. I recently was in a conversation with someone, and I said Porsche because I'm a rube.
Right.
And he said, if you say Porsche one more time, I'm going to have to hang up the phone.
They're not. I would think they're both acceptable.
And no, it's Porsche. It's not Porsche. And aficionados, which this guy, I was like, hey, how's your Porsche? He's like, it's Porsche. And he wasn't being a dick. He's not a dick type of guy.
Right.
I was like, why are you breaking my balls over this? I don't own one. You do. I'm just doing small talk.
Mike, it's also pronounced Kia Sorento.
Hey, Kia's got a big new SUV, but we can talk cars. I want to get back to Cool Hand Luke, so I don't get totally off topic.
Lucille.
Oh, wow. Was that a scene? That's 60s, baby. That's the sexual revolution movie right there. There you go.
Little big bone for my taste, if I'm being honest, but a sexy scene.
Yeah. Well, that's George Kennedy's,
yes.
George Kennedy's dream woman.
And by the way, George Kennedy in the movie Cool Hand Luke, the only Oscar.
Yep.
There were lots of nominations, but he was the only one for Best Supporting Actor in that movie, won the Academy Award. George Kennedy in that movie, high point of his career. Really, and see, I get all that from TCM.
Who's more famous, Paul Newman or Robert Redford?
Robert Redford.
Okay.
No,
I actually put them.
No, it is. They're almost equal.
I would say almost equal, and because of the two
Robert
movies
Redford
they
with
made,
more longevity. That's probably why Robert Redford would be better known.
But also, I mean, they were in The Sting, great movie together, and they co-starred in that.
You love The Sting. That is your thing.
I don't know The Sting.
Rob loves The Sting. I don't love The Sting.
I know the car, The Stingray.
Okay, I apologize for liking The Sting.
No, but hey, smart ass. No, it's just like you bring it up. Robert Redford has made.
But he brought up. Listen,
hold on. No, the Horse Whisperer goes back.
What about Sneakers?
But what I'm saying is he was asking to compare Redford and Newman, and I was going to bring up they made that movie together, and they also made Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid together. I think because of that, I put them almost at equal footing. They both had marvelous success apart, but they had success together.
Because I don't do the same because of Redford's had more longevity. The last movie that I think Robert Redford Paul Newman made was The Road to Perdition, and he's fantastic in that too with Tom Hanks. He's great. By the way, that is a movie that holds up to me. I love that movie.
So let's bring it to modern day comparison. All right. So you've got Leonardo DiCaprio. And then you have let's not say Brad Pitt because they have a movie coming up. That's why I think it's if Paul Newman is either Leonardo DiCaprio of our modern day back in the day.
Paul Newman would be Brad Pitt.
Exactly. Oh. And I would actually switch them. I think that Brad Pitt is closer to Robert Redford, and I think then the comparison works a little better.
Well, no, I don't think you. I think you have to throw Leonardo DiCaprio out of the mix to get a comparison. You have Brad Pitt, and you have to have somebody else.
Clooney.
Maybe George Clooney.
Because they've worked together.
The coolness,
even better.
The coolness
even
of
better.
Even better.
Coolness. Even better.
And then Brad Pitt is Redford and Clooney is Paul Newman. Or do you think it's vice versa?
I've always felt that Brad Pitt was the next Robert Redford. I've always felt that. I think they have a similar demeanor on screen. I think they even have a similar look and a coolness. But also,
who's the better actor, Paul Newman or Robert Redford?
I think that Paul Newman is a more charismatic performer, and I think that Robert Redford is a better actor.
I think that Paul Newman is a more versatile actor than Robert Redford. I think Robert Redford, if you go back over his body of
All
work,
the President's Men,
all the way up through what's the one where he offers Demi Moore the $1 million?
Indecent Proposal.
He's playing the same character.
He's
always played the same character, and so I think that I think Paul Newman had more of a.
Yeah,
I also think that Paul Newman, the reason I say he's more charismatic is he has more fun with it, or had more fun with it. If you remember, he was on the first episode of Letterman on CBS.
I don't remember.
This was a great cameo he did where he stood up in the audience and and Letterman was doing his monologue and he says, "Excuse me," and Paul Newman just said, "I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong place," and he walked out of the theater during the first episode. And also, he made fun of himself in the Mel Brooks movie Silent Movie. He had more fun with his celebrity than I think Robert Redford did.
Look, this is a great conversation for us and people that are younger than us.
Do you feel like the water on your brain that swells your brain up goes down a little bit when we have these discussions? Because whenever we're talking about this kind of pop culture, I feel as though you're releasing facts from your brain. It's a valve that is. It's not necessarily having a conversation about movies. It's more or less releasing these factoids from your brain, like the Paul Newman at Letterman thing. Does that relieve
that wasn't
you a
so
little
much.
bit?
It does
that
relieve
you were
me.
able to finally get it out,
but it wasn't so much a relief as it was the fact that it stuck with me. It was that remarkable.
And this is your wheelhouse.
This
is your wheelhouse.
This is true. Yeah. This is true.
Mike, where do you rank?
The pain has gone away.
Yeah, I know. I understand that.
The third artery now moves.
So you mentioned Lucille. What did you think about the movie as far as the way it held up? Cool Hand Luke, which is in my top 5, by the way. My top 5 movie.
It is hard to find a movie that when someone says you're going to love it and you have no context. We know you have, I guess, I have surface level context on Paul Newman. So then when you see him and you see everybody and you see a lot of actors you recognize that are younger,
yes,
that blows my mind. So it's hard to get past that. But as a plot in a movie, I really enjoyed it.
And my favorite part, the best part of the movie, and Rob, you might
Foreigner
agree with
stamp
me.
of approval.
I'm glad you like it, Rob. The best part of it, and I watched it in its entirety last night. It's still the greatest part is the guy with the mirrored glasses shoots the turtle. Paul Newman, in his shuffling way, like a broken man, goes down and gets the turtle, and the whole time he's been stealing the keys to the trucks, and he's getting ready to make one last escape. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, is the best part of the movie. They couldn't break him. They could not break him until they shot him. I love that movie. My God, that movie. It's been a long time since
I didn't understand, I guess, the premise of them just being on a chain gang or just working on the side of the road.
The way it used to be down in the South.
Is that what happened? Is that what is?
And that guy, Sheriff Joe Arpaio, did it until not that long ago, if he's not still in power.
Work camp, where they would be at a camp out in a rural area, and then they would work on public works projects, and when they called it a chain gang, they weren't all in chains, but many back in the day they were, but in many cases, guys that would run, or hard cases, would be shackled, and they would be out working, and that would be their drill. That going to jail back in the day was not being warehoused like it is today.
Making license plates.
In these giant facilities, you would be out working on, and you still see it in Florida. You still see guys that are doing public works things, cleaning up the side of the highway.
I've seen
and
that.
You'll see that. I see it constantly down here.
We saw a lot of that when we drove to Florida. I remember.
Yeah, you want to see it a lot. You see it down here, especially summertime.
That was Martha Stewart's main complaint about jail. Was all the time on the road.
She had to go out on the road,
chained, shirtless.
It was very, very frustrating. But you know what? A tribute to our Connecticut resident Paul Newman, who did a great job. Married to Joanne Woodward for his entire life.
Legendary couple.
One of the great Hollywood couples, and just a cool dude, and a guy that gave back.
Yep.
A guy that gave back all the time, and like Redford's doing the same thing.
Do you know that Volvo that
overpowered one?
Yeah, the one that was like a stealth race car.
What kind of engine? How many horsepower? Did
750 horsepower, if I'm not mistaken. Something like it was.
Just for driving around?
It was his going to the grocery store car.
Oh, God, that's just cool. You can't, that's just plain cool. As somebody that drives a Volvo, and I will tell you, I have a Volvo and a Subaru.
Okay.
I mean, cars that scream, I have no life. I mean, and by the way, Wonderful transportation.
Oh, yeah.
Solid,
yeah.
reliable transportation.
Safe.
I was looking last night, just because I love cars, I was looking at the 2020 Toyota Supra, which is this new sports car they're coming out from Toyota. And I was looking, and I said, well, I'll look like a pimento in an olive if I try to sit in that car.
Is it called the 2020 Supra because of the year or because it has a picture of Hugh Downs on it?
No, it's the 2020
okay, so it's a
Supra.
year 2020.
Big deal in the car world.
Big deal. It's by Hugh Downs was a game show host back in the day.
Okay. No, he hosted 2020.
Well, 2020 was the TV show later, but he hosted Concentration.
Yes.
Back way back in the. God damn it, Rob. So anyway,
Volvo.
The Volvo, and you know what? And I just I always crave what I cannot have. You know, right now I could eat a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts, but I'm not going to be able to get them. And I want a car. When Oscar says to me, Paul Newman put a 700 horsepower engine in a Volvo to drive around, and I think of my Volvo down here that I get into.
They don't move that fast.
Where you know they've taken the power of the engine that I have in my automobile right now is the same that they put in a desk fan. That is the same amount of power that I have. But with all the bells and whistles and technology that the Swedes have put into this car, you know, they've got this thing and this thing.
You can
to make
do something because we have a Volvo as well.
Right.
Volvo. And I said to the guy, I was like, man, this thing just doesn't have the pickup I would like, but I'm not on the highway enough to justify the need. He said, well, if you decide to change your mind for $1,500 roughly, we can put in this chip that will unlock the power of your car. And I said,
even with a 4-cylinder engine?
Yes, that's what I have.
Do you buy that for the chip? I don't know that I buy that.
I do, because it works with golf carts too.
This I knew about golf carts, but I mean...
So electronically,
Pony
these cars
is shaking
are
his head in another room like he knows what we're talking about.
Yes, it absolutely does. What it does is it changes the whole fuel layout of the engine. It remaps everything so that you get a lot more power, but it doesn't get the same mileage, and the engine might wear out faster.
So are you telling me that I could go down to my Volvo dealership and say to them...
Tell them you want the Polestar package.
The Polestar, how much does it cost?
Aftermarket, $1,500 to $2,000. It'll unlock the power of your engine.
Carla, give me some Krispy Kreme donuts. We got to start the show regularly.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show. You can listen to the Mike O'Mara Show at www.mikeomarashow.com.
Stay tuned for an outstanding entertainment program.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show.
Let's get down to business.
From the entertainment capital of the world.
When I was growing up, I was probably about 8 years old, and at the time, we were living in Silver Spring. Common misconception about me in D.C. A lot of people think I'm from the hood. That's not true. But I never bothered to correct anybody.
I love him.
Because I wanted the streets to embrace me. As a matter of fact, I kept it up as a ruse. Like sometimes I'll hang out with rappers like Nas and them, start talking about the projects. Yo, it was wild in the PJs, yo. And I'll be like, word. But I don't know. I have no idea. My parents did just well enough so that I could grow up poor around white people. And to be honest, when Nas and them talk about the projects, I used to get jealous. Because it sounded fun. Everybody in the projects was poor, and that's fair. But if you were poor in Silver Spring, it felt like it was only happening to you. Nas does not know the pain of that first sleepover at a white friend's house. And you come back home on Sunday and just look at your parents like, y'all need to step your game up. Everything at Timmy's house works.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show. Mike O'Mara, Rob Spiewak, Oscar Santana. And now, from his easy chair, here's Mike.
Dave Chappelle, national treasure. You know, we got a comedian working right now, ladies and gentlemen, that you can be able to go back in 20 years and watch his stuff, and it's going to hold up. That's how great he is. We are live from the Podcast Village studios in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. This is the Mike O'Mara Show. We are heard from Letterkenny, Ireland, to Steubenville, Ohio. When did you get back? From Solon, Iowa. Yeah, oh, you betcha, yeah. to Marshall, Missouri. Got no dialect for them. Don't know what the hell it would be. From Hawthorne, California. Okay. To Athens, Greece. Whoopa!
Opa!
The Mike O'Mara Show is on now and brought to you by our good friends at Ring. Ring's mission is to make neighborhoods safer. By the way, when you're out there surfing online and you see people stealing packages out of a front door and stuff, you can thank Ring for a lot of that.
Yes, of course.
You know, if there is a Ring doorbell on your front door and there's a package or a surprise visitor, you're going to get an alert, and you're going to be able to see, hear, and speak to them all from your phone, no matter where you are, thanks to the HD video and two-way audio features on Ring devices. Now, I have a Ring floodlight cam. I cannot possibly tell you how much I love this. This is, first of all, it's so incredibly reliable because when you think about the weather up in Maine and what it goes through, and that I am able to check if there's a storm up there or if I'm having a package delivered, if I'm having somebody visit, it's constant. It gives me an alert. It'll turn the light on. I can talk to people. It's absolute wonderful technology, and it's motion activated. It's got built-in floodlights. It's got a siren, two-way audio, so I can have a conversation with somebody on my deck. It is that sophisticated. It's wonderful. Get the protection plan. All of your Ring video will be saved forever. That means if you ever have any incident, God forbid, you'll have peace of mind. Yeah. As a TMOS listener, you have access to a special offer on a Ring starter kit available right now. It has a video doorbell. It has motion-activated floodlight cam. This starter kit has everything you need to start building a ring of security around your home. Just go to ring.com/TMOS. That's ring.com/TMOS and start living safer today. When I get up to Maine, I'm putting in the Ring doorbell on the front door, and I'm putting the security system in the house because they got all sorts of products to create the ring of security.
And you can rest easy. You got it under control.
We are well within time. We can get the rest of our yaks done, and then we can dive into Oscar Santana, who the last time I checked was that there's this controversy over snacks that I saw online. I don't know if you know anything about that.
Oh, I'm living
Baltimore
it.
and
I'm living
okay.
it.
So it's
I'm living it.
I'm living it. There is an update, Mike.
All right, and I will also tell the story about how Oscar blew me off for another meeting yesterday at the end of our conversation. And
dear.
I'm not even remotely over it yet. But let's get to the Yak Shack right now because we got only halfway through them yesterday, and let's check that out right now. You should have seen the look on my face when that happened, Oscar. I was just looking at my phone going, okay. But anyway, let's dive in.
You know what? Even in this day of cellular technology, you can't slam your phone down like you used to be able to.
No,
but you can stare at your phone in disbelief.
What just happened?
What just happened?
No, I mean I'm fully self-aware. I was in mid-ramble and stuff, and I was just like, Mike, I got Charlie and Cameron waiting for it. I gotta go. All right, so let's dive into this. And this next yak is we got halfway through yesterday. This is called Yak Shack. This is called Interesting Idea.
Yak Shack. We need to get Johnny the intern and Zoolander on the same episode in the same room at the same time. Make it happen.
That's genius.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Christmas comes once a year, and it could possibly happen.
We will just have to make sure that we allow time to wash out the windscreens.
Thank you very much. This is something Cardi B. Cardi B.
Yes.
All right. Very popular this week on the Yak Shack.
Hey, this is Josh from Bakersfield, California. Rob, for the love of God, please stop playing that Cardi B song. It is driving me nuts, stuck in the head all day. Thanks. I'm out.
I didn't realize, Rob, until this morning, believe it or not, that it was a video. That there's a
you can
YouTube
watch the guy playing it.
Yeah.
And I agree. It has gotten to a point where it's annoying.
None of you bitches. None of
Not
you
for me.
bitches.
I love it.
Got these exclusives.
Swisher Sweet Uggs.
What's poppin'?
Thank you.
Someone
very
should
much.
hire that man.
Yeah, and that one going out to Dan Cole, who sent me a text saying, "Stop playing it. I can't get out of my head." Hi, Dan.
All right. You're listening to TMOS Yak Shack, and the next call we have, thank you, says, "Does he really have a kid?" I have no idea. Let's listen.
Hey, TMOS. This is Matt from Silver Spring. I'm here with my daughter, Madeline, who's 11 months old. She loves the show, too. We're really big fans of TMOS Live. But the reason I'm calling is I'm alone with her, and I farted a few minutes ago. And she made the sound back to me with her mouth after I did that. it was pretty great. Thought you'd like to hear that. Thanks, guys. Love you. Bye.
All right. The reason I wrote it, now I remember. I wrote that. Does he really have a kid? I'm going to play the beginning of it again, and you tell me if you think that is him making that sound as a baby, or whether that really is a baby sound.
All right.
And
or a doll.
It's right. It's
sound effect.
Or a doll. You just turned it into
a lifelike
Saw.
doll.
You just turned it into Saw 3. All right. Listen to the beginning. Okay. What do you think?
I think that's
Listen,
real.
I'll play it again. All right. That's a real baby?
I think so. A baby.
Also, the subject matter, I think that we're the type of show where a listener would call and say, I just busted ass, and my daughter of 11 months just mimicked me, and it's a proud moment. I would be proud as well.
I would like to quote the Ron Howard movie Parenthood, is that you need a license to drive a car, but anyone can be a parent.
Well, yeah, let me explain that. When late at night I'm swimming in the primordial ooze that are these calls.
Yes.
Sometimes my paranoia juices are really flowing. So,
you come by it naturally, and it's good that you have that natural skepticism, I think.
Thank you. Next on the Yak Shack, we have the casino call. Casino call. Let's listen.
Hey, Mike. It's Bill at 12:32. I'm coming back from the bad place, Hollywood Casino, and I won 200 at roulette.
Ooh.
I'm wondering, Hollywood Casino is pretty low. What's the lowest of the low casinos that you bid at and won or lost?
All right.
Bye, Mike.
Is he talking about lowest of the low as far as quality of, or is he talking about my bottom, my gambling bottom? I've had multiple gambling bottoms.
I think it is he's looking for a social low.
Yes.
All right, then that's easier than if I picked a casino. Because, by the way, the one down here would probably be the skeeziest one that I've been to. And they're not skeezy because they make a lot of money and they have bells and whistles. And you have, I went to see Craig Ferguson at once. So It's not skeezy, but some of them are better than others. In November,
true.
In November we'll be flying off to. And by the way, because we have boycotted gambling down here, I am already just envisioning my timetable and trying to book my flights to Las Vegas already, and going, 8:59. No, that will not work on Thursday night. Not for Daddy.
Oh, not to land
anyway.
at 8:59.
No, he'll be landing at 8:59 a.m. on Monday.
Yeah.
He'll do the shows from Vegas.
Lots of show prep.
Yeah, lots of show prep.
By
the way,
advanced team.
I'm going to say this: how many months early? The Monday show for your boy here after Vegas is looking sketchy.
Okay.
Okay.
Right,
with my flights back here,
travel day. Travel day.
Travel day.
I'm not. I know that after the Saturday show, we're going to go out and we're going to celebrate and we're going to have a good time.
Yes.
And I am not taking an 11 o'clock that night flight back to Florida. Just wanted to. It's more airlines. Hey, here's a bulletin. They change every year. They're different flight schedules every year. A couple listeners were talking about. All right, getting back to the casino. Low. There have been so many. First of all, every time you lose a lot, it's a low.
I have a question. Is it a loss if you won the money and then give it back?
There's more. If you walk out even.
Yeah.
No, that's a win.
Because I have a personal favorite low of yours.
Oh God!
If I may,
I forgot we've been together.
Maybe you've
a long
blocked
time.
it out.
No, I think you may remember this.
Yeah.
It was our first trip to Iowa. And that first evening there, we went out to the casino in Iowa, and you found your way to this is always frightening when I look across a crowded room, lit mostly with LED lights, and I see Mike at the high-limit slots. Ooh. And I'm like, oh, boy, this could conceivably ruin the next 5 shows. And I look.
Changed the name of it to Idiot Room.
And he's in there, and it's like an alcove, and it's got the red rope.
They're fun when they're like $1, and that's high limit.
And I look over, and I see... And Mike's arms are in the air,
big win.
And he has a huge hit. And this is where you went wrong, is after the big hit, you called Carla, and you said, I've hit big! I've hit big! And then about 8 minutes later, he had given it all back.
Oh. Thank you.
And I saw him head down like Charlie Brown walked past me in the casino, and he says, I'm a degeneraate gambler.
That's a low.
I don't think I've ever...
That's a low.
But he broke even, so it's okay.
I know I was working at WJFK, and this would be, I was with Carla, I know this. This would be the all-time low for me. I was so wound up and so thinking that I was going to get it back and so rolling it and doing that, I said to Carla, I said, you know what? We'll sell the car. And
I remember hearing this story and wondering, I was like, who looks at somebody and says they'll sell a car?
Right. If you saw me driving a Mercedes one day and a Toyota Highlander the next day, that was a gambling.
It was your punishment.
That was my punishment.
Yeah.
I knew I was doing, and I did, and I did that. I did
can't
that. I've never.
believe that.
Yeah. If you added it all up over the years, I'd have a better lifestyle.
It's a disease.
You know? It's a disease.
It's a disease.
But Mike,
It really
what if
is.
you
It
also added up all the fun memories?
You can't. I don't regret it. I've had too much fun. I love it. I love the bells and whistles.
Yeah, it's fun.
I really enjoy it.
The siren song. The siren song, baby.
Next call on the Yak Shack is Oscar's lateness. Let's listen.
Hi, Mike. I wanted to call and try and explain Oscar's lateness. It comes from his lust for toil. He is always trying to do something. So if he's got 10 minutes before the show and he has the option of doing an 8-minute task or a 15-minute task, he will choose the 15-minute task as to not have any gap whatsoever, and therefore will end up being 5 minutes late.
All right, so
It's still selfish.
It's still selfish. I agree,
selfish.
but I
am
don't.
a rat bastard.
I think that is spot on.
I do too. I do too.
I see. You couldn't even do it when you came in after we taped Political Persuasions early today.
Yes.
Oscar's here. We're ready to go at 9 o'clock. He sees that we're running late. Bam. He's out of there doing something. He can't stand it.
Well, no, I went and inspected the breakfast buffet, and I said, what snacks do I want before the show?
Snacks.
We have a breakfast.
Well, no, there's a drawer full of little snacks, and I like to pillage it.
And he came in.
I come in.
He came in. We made eye contact.
Yeah.
He thumbs up to me. I thumbs up to him, and he's off like a shot.
All right, let's next call on the Yak Shack is disturbing. When I write that down, it really
I like
is.
that tease.
Let's listen.
Hey, boys or girls. I heard you talking about my undies and the Star Wars lounge pants. I got a pair too with the stormtroopers and lightsabers. But my lightsabers don't come up until the morning.
Gross.
I don't know what's up with that.
Okay.
And is Subway, I think they call it Subway because the way the bread is shaped, kind of like a submarine. All right, ladies, I'm out.
Somebody document that guy's number.
You know what's really sad is we traced that call. That's Mark Hamill.
Remember what I told you yesterday before the Yak Shack when I told you?
Yes,
it
eclectic.
was one of those. It was eclectic.
The word you used was eclectic.
It's nasty. Next one, I go from disturbing to anyone can call.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Derek from Orlando, and I just wanted to call and give you guys the heads up on the best Subway sandwich.
What's he doing? That's when we talked about sandwiches.
Okay, so basically what you do is you get yourself a meatball sub, and you mix it with the pizza sub. You get the extra provolone on that bad boy. A little salt and pepper if you're feeling spicy, am I right? But basically, meatball marinara crossed with the pizza sub.
Anyone can call.
Which is that pepperoni marinara
He's all
provolone sauce.
This is great. No, this is actually genius.
It goes well with that.
Is it really
nice
genius?
jacket.
Look, I'm not a
Anyway.
I'm not a foodie, but I get what
Thanks,
he's doing.
guys.
I've been
Derek from Orlando.
to Subway enough times where you can make a mashup of a sub, and I've seen people do this. I don't live in that world, but I've seen people do this and wonder, is it that much better? They pay double because you pay for double meat essentially.
It sounds too sloppy to me, and also he loses credibility because of the fluidity of his accent, which came and went.
Is he doing California? Is he doing British? What is he doing?
He didn't know. He had pepperoni caught in his brain.
Last week on the show, I talked about snake feeding. We have a call about that. Let's listen to this.
Hey, guys. Richard from Sacramento. Oscar, you don't know what you're talking about. Book 6 and 7 of the Ice and Fire series have not been published. 7 hasn't even been written, you retard.
Shut up!
Mike, don't trip too much about the snake feeding videos. It's actually pretty interesting. My son used to have a red-tailed boa And when we fed it, it was gather around, watch the snake eat the rat. Lots of fun. Hope you guys are having a fabulous day.
Thank you for the call. We
this
appreciate
guy
that.
said boa in the creepiest way I've ever heard.
You know, when I was in high school, I had a red-tailed boa, but it was a fashion accessory. It was made of feathers.
Yeah, that's when you were in your John Candy.
Yes, I was doing a tribute to Divine.
Harry Krebs. Or whatever that movie was. What was his name?
Who's Harry Crumb?
Who's Harry Crumb? It was Joe Krebs, Harry Crumb. The Game of Thrones was just. I knocked out about 20 of them, but this one got through on the Yak Shack.
Mike, love your idea for the Game of Thrones ending. I think that would have been much more better. I didn't hate it, but point of order, Dany is Jon's aunt.
Oh.
Not his sister.
My mistake.
Sorry. And
This changes
Oscar,
everything.
George R.R. Martin still hasn't written book 6 or 7.
right.
You're still an idiot. Thanks, guys.
Wow. I've never seen
the hostility.
The Game of Thrones. He hasn't written the book yet.
Can't we be brothers in arms and say that we enjoy the program together? Why do you have to be bullies? This is the only time in your life that you ever been able to call a radio show and say, "You big dummy."
Do you realize that fans
get in
of
line?
Game of Thrones super fans make me like people that like Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, there you go. There it is. Remember that controversy. All right, we wrap up the Yak Shack, gentlemen, with a really confident idiot. Would you like to hear a call from a confident idiot?
Yes.
Who doesn't like a confident idiot?
I give you the confident idiot.
Hi, guys. This is Ben from Wouldn't You Like to Know? So you're talking about Jersey Mike subs, and I thought I'd tell you my Jersey Mike sub story.
Oh.
Fuck Jersey Mike's.
Oh.
I hate to break it to you guys, but sorry, Tony. He's an asshole. He's a big trophy hunter. There's pictures of him he shot an elephant. And he's sitting there like a douchebag with his giving the thumbs up.
No.
So the question is, are those subs good enough for your soul?
It's Jimmy John, you moron. It's not Jersey Mike. It's Jimmy John that shot the African animals.
But he was
not
confident.
Jersey Mike.
He was confident.
A confident idiot.
Go get an Italian sub with extra tusk on it.
Yeah. By the way, that guy, have you ever seen the pictures of Jimmy John?
Yeah.
The one that kills me, you see one where he's like naked, lying on a fish on the back of a boat?
Yeah, that's hot.
And believe me, that is so widespread. I think about that. I've maybe gotten 4 Jimmy John subs in my lifetime, but I think about that guy.
Mike's way does not involve elephant's feet.
That's right.
It doesn't. No. So do not besmirch Jersey Mike. I've never seen a picture of Jersey Mike, but I think he might look like Paulie Christine.
It's the exact picture I have in my head.
Exactly. We'll take a break, come back with Oscar's World right here on the Mike O'Mara Show.
None of you bitches got these exclusive
TMOS tickets. Oh wait, yes you do, because you sold out the show on Friday, but you want more. There's still a few tickets available for Saturday, November 16th. Get online to get yours today so you can avoid FOMO. It's the exclusive TMOS Live extravaganza in Las Vegas. It's popping now.
Who did that one?
That is a collaboration from Sharon Bailey and Jim Amato. So good job, guys.
Damn good.
You know,
quick turnaround.
This is the show where the listeners do all of our production. And we'll
take
love
it.
We'll take it, absolutely. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. Brought to you by Cornerstone. Food for thought from Cornerstone First Financial. Tariffs, trade wars, headlines. One bit of news that's been on the DL is the dramatic drop in mortgage interest rates. Investors are flocking to the security of Treasury bonds. Interest rates have been driven lower and lower, which benefits you big time. So, whether you're buying a house or refinancing, you've got to act right now.
When?
Yes. While the market is still on your side, home appreciations are up, rates are low, and with Cornerstone's guarantee to meet or beat any competitor, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to eliminate your PMI, consolidate debt, do home improvements, or take cash out for any reason. Sooner or later, inflationary pressure will push these rates back up to realistic levels, so this won't let... There's a lot of jargon in these in these spots. Let me just say, the people at Cornerstone First Financial, who I have not mentioned through half of this commercial, are good folks.
Yes.
They are in the building. They will help you refinance.
Yes.
They know their way around getting a loan for you. It's all about getting a loan and getting it at the lowest rate and working with people that make the process easy. That's Cornerstone. They are licensed in California, Maryland, Virginia, D.C., Georgia, Florida, and Colorado. Click their banner on our website. Visit cornerstonefirst.com or call them at 866-625-1221. That's 866-625-1221. Cornerstone First Financial. Personal attention from application to closing. Yes, sir. All right. So now there's a controversy around
Oscars World.
Oscars World.
All right.
Oscars World.
And I'm not talking about the controversy yesterday when Oscar and I were arguing because we had a conversation that after the show about business, and even though Oscar blew me off on the phone, I understood because he had people waiting and he's a busy man.
How abrupt
He's got
was
lots
he?
of things. Not gently abrupt.
Well, that's not
In
horrible.
fact, I wouldn't even lose. Well, anytime you say I have to go to I have to talk to people besides you, there would be a level of abruptness there, and I am a man that's not accustomed to that.
No, and that's a weird cocktail because you hate talking on the phone.
I don't like it when my sister does it. I don't like it when Oscar does it.
You do not like being on the phone, but you also do not like to be dispensed with.
I don't like that at all. I don't like that.
In my defense, these were the choices. I'm in another meeting after the show. Mike calls. I get up and answer the call out of the meeting, and I tell Mike, I was like, I just walked out of a meeting. Hold on a second. Then I have to walk back in, and he knows who's there. We actually have a former colleague of ours that visited Podcast
Yeah,
Village.
I didn't know at the time when we started that was the colleague you were talking about.
It was great to see him yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
it was, certainly.
Very nice. And
my sister, by the way, does it worse than Oscar does it because when my sister does it, it's just like, listen, we're, okay, I've got to go.
Well, at least you haven't been dealing with that your whole life.
Right.
What do you think about when people do this? When I can, and Shannon does this to anyone except for me because she knows it drives me nuts.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to let you go.
Yes. Oh God. Do you know that there was a coffee clutch?
I hate that too.
At Big Daddy's house that was for many years at 4:00. Neighborhood. His sister would show up. Neighbors would come and they'd know there'd be a pot of coffee at Big Daddy's house at 4:00. And there was one lady named Mrs. on a Fry Chuck. And she could talk and talk and talk, and we'd all listen. And my father used to call the coffee truth serum because people would come and drink the coffee and just gossip. And her classic closing, well, let me go. And it was, well, no one's holding you back.
Oscar, I have a way that you can make it all right to me.
Okay.
I've got it for this is how you make it all right to me. And I can't go into detail here because Oscar and I talk about a lot of stuff.
Yes.
But that scenario we were talking about, the other stuff that we were talking about that you do, write me an email of the dream scenario for me, like what it would be if everything was incredible. Even though it probably will never happen, just put that in, and that'll be something I'll hang on to. Because I think like that.
You will hold it over me.
Yes. No, I won't.
No, you've done it on the show.
I'm not on that side.
No.
Only on the show I do that.
It's
I won't
documented.
do that on the other thing.
You will get upset, and you will take something I said that we hope for, and you said, what happened to that? That's never happened.
Oscar's saying something that a lot of people adhere to. Never put anything in writing.
Well, anyway, we worked it.
Yes,
we worked our stuff out.
We worked it out,
good.
And I
not like I usually like that closure.
There was no closure because what I thought was going to be a quick 5-minute conversation became what was a 20-minute conversation.
Okay.
And I left Cameron in the office with Charlie. And Charlie, I know, was not expecting Cameron.
Right.
So I said, well, now I have to go back in that room. Who knows what's happening at this point?
Were they fighting?
No, they were talking.
Oh, good.
But I also did want to be respectful of Mike's time. He sounded like he was about to do something. I knew that that Charlie was about to do something. So it's hard to get off the phone with anybody, let alone someone you want to finish a conversation with.
So we finished that. And then this morning, I knew we were going to talk about Oscar's World. And I think I saw it last night or early this morning that you have some other controversy brewing where you're having some sort of battle with is that Schlegel up in Baltimore we're talking about?
I want to be very clear here because I do not want to make this a bigger deal than it is. And listeners would love this to be a big deal.
I wish I knew more. I'd be able to ask you questions.
And out of respect to Justin, who I had a long conversation with, I would like to tell you off air because I don't want this to become. I'm telling you,
I knew nothing about
Justin. When you have a
one.
one-on-one, well, you know something about Justin. You don't know the fallout that Justin and I almost had this past weekend. So we'll talk about that off air. But I will tell you this. And look, and I have to do this because I promised the guy I would not perpetuate any more of this nonsense.
Okay. Well, it's been on air on Big O and Dukes.
Yes, and then I've apologized publicly on Big O and Dukes.
All right.
As I said, leave Justin Schlegel alone. He's an ally of the show. What happened is...
No one's ever treated me nicer than that guy.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, he's the greatest.
And we love him. And your esteem for him is just the same as mine.
Well, and this is not because he's kind to me. This is because he's also extremely funny.
He's effing talented. How many times after our trip in Vegas we're like, that guy's a 10. Yeah. That guy's a 10.
There are not many radio guys like him in the world. And I say that I don't say that lightly. Mm-hmm. I really do. So there was something about the snacks.
So Chad and I had a special Friday night edition. As you know, Dukes does one of the Big O and Dukes shows of the 2 a week. And this week, we had 2. So Friday was a special show.
Johnny used to not do Tuesday shows.
So
he's still on the radio Monday through Friday, doing 4 hours. So
right.
I respect that.
4.5. 4.5 hours, yes. So we decided for the first time ever in Big O and Dukes history to do a power hour, but it was going to be a Big O versus Dukes. So
am I naive in not knowing what a power hour is?
How do you not know what a power hour is?
What the hell is a power hour? What is it?
In college, have you ever gone and had a power hour at any fraternity house, sorority house, and
like drinking?
Yes, drinking. Yes.
Yeah, all right. I know what you're talking about.
So
you're
talking
about
pound drinks for an hour.
So you don't know. You don't just pound drinks for an hour. You get a shot of beer. There are multiple iterations of this game.
See, this is why you were so naive. I never needed a game to drink. You just drank.
I didn't even like beer pong.
For you.
Yeah. I did a power hour. I got the shakes.
So in the power hour, how many shots are consumed?
Technically 60 shots of beer. So
shots of beer.
Yeah, so it's not liquor.
Okay.
We went roughly
90 ounces.
We went 104 minutes or something like that for our part because we just kept on spiraling out of control. Okay. A fun show.
Like 8 beers in an hour.
A really great show. A topic came up involving Justin Schlegel. It spun out of control. Things were said. And then the next morning, duly noted, I get a text from Justin because he listens to the show. And he's at Preakness, and he's like, "Whoa, what was that?" And I assure him in my text, I said, "Look, man, I'm waking up. I just got home from Fairfax. I did not drunk drive home, so we are all good. We all love you. It's just a bit. We're doing the show. Like we're good. We're good. We're good." And then what we also don't realize, and Mike, you know this, as we get older, we're not into this radio war world. That's not our thing anymore. It hasn't ever been our thing.
I hated it. It caused a lot of stress for me. I didn't care for it. I don't mind criticizing people or giving people crap if they give me crap, but I don't. God Almighty, when I look back, I mean, look,
did you ever enjoy it in the day?
No. And by the way, did I enjoy it? No. Did I do it without any real issue? Yeah. I mean, it was what you do, and I didn't mind. I'm extremely, and so is Don. We were hyper competitive.
Oh yeah.
So it was not a stretch for us. I'm competitive that way. Even if I'm having an argument with somebody.
Is it fair to say also for those who have crossed our paths and betrayed us and done us wrong as of the past 8 years, we've taken the high road?
Yeah, and
I think so.
But I don't look backwards. And I think it's really important when you mention that. Since you mentioned that,
yes,
I should really say that this is the way I find peace in my life. If there have been problematic relationships that are really excruciatingly difficult, I won't say painful, but just difficult, I don't choose to look backwards and say, "Hey, it'll be all right." With that said, if there were overtures, I probably wouldn't completely rebuff them.
Yeah, but you're not seeking to re-engage in any manner.
No, I don't want to re-engage. I want to move forward.
No, move forward.
I want to move forward. I don't want to get into the fray like that. Back in the day when we're competing with different radio shows, whether it's Hard and Weaver, Trumbull and Core, the Grease Man, Howard Stern. By the way, with Howard selling his book, and I think that's why he's got this reinvention. He's a very brilliant manipulator of media. He is. And so this whole thing with changing his tune. But anybody that's watched Howard over the years knows that he has changed his tune. But then, pick a fight with Howard and see if he changes his tune. He's the same animal. I mean, it's the way he rolls. But you get older, you do grow up that you don't want to dwell on doing
and you
that.
certainly, I can speak for myself. I never liked that type of radio. I enjoyed listening to it growing up, but I never liked fighting with other programs. It was never, or fighting with other broadcasters. We never really had the opportunity to, but when it happened, it was never a comfortable spot for me because I never relished it.
It was hard for me, too. It was really hard for me, especially with the Opie and Anthony stuff. That's just terrible, man. I mean, it's just we're all trying to make a living. It was, but it was compelling for the listeners. They're people that are, and
a lot of people love it.
Yeah, if you hop on social media, you'll see people need that in their lives.
What went from a out of control power hour, quickly turned into what was my Saturday morning of I guess what I thought was a reestablishing of. Dude, I got nothing but esteem for you. We're good. I was thinking I'd get back on Tuesday and say, hey, we're all good. It's fine. Mm-hmm. What I wasn't accounting for is our passionate listenership attacking or going after someone we care about. So,
people.
Yes.
People, Mike. People. Just people.
Now, fast forward as
you mean your passionate listenership.
No, I would say
I separate myself from the Dukes when there's a controversy. Those weren't TMOS people that did that. No, I'm kidding.
The Horde, the passionate Horde.
Well, the Horde,
Yeah,
there are more meanies in the Horde. I think.
I don't know if they're meanies, Mike. They're passionate.
Okay, they're passionate.
People are people, Mike. Why should it be?
Right. So, I know the people.
The human condition. Who knows what's going to happen?
And that's the name of the show.
They're the people that were at Hard Times Cafe that all have beards and smell, and I can walk in and they look at me like.
Hard Times Cafe is no more.
Oh,
all shuttered.
No, that's a bar business.
I think one left in Springfield, but the one in Fairfax just closed.
We have to take a break. We'll come back and wrap this up when we come back on the Mike O'Mara Show. Why are you playing this?
This is a great song.
Okay, girls. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
It's Memorial Day, and that means heading to the beach, opening up the pool, eating burgers and hot dogs, and drinking endless cocktails. So why don't you add something really special, like buying a subscription to the Mike O'Mara Show? It's an extra uncensored hour of summertime fun. Download the TMOS app now, won't you? Let's head back to the grill master himself, Mike, I loved brine roast chicken O'Mara.
Thank you very much. He likes that brine chicken thing. And he recorded that at the bottom of a pool that was empty. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. So tell me, is Ben Franklin your favorite president?
Is he?
I like George Washington.
Yeah, he's good.
You morons, he wasn't even ever a president.
Oh, no.
He was a statesman, you see.
Oh.
But it was Benjamin Franklin who said, "Dost thou love life? Then do not squander time, for that is the stuff life is made of."
Didn't he fly a kite?
He did.
Oh.
Well, dost thou? Because if you dost love life, you had better not squander time. Now is the time to order your tickets to the TMOS Live 10th Anniversary Spectacular. And you better hurry. This year will make Thou Love Life, because we've added a second show on November 16th. So if you missed out on the first sold-out show, this is your big chance. If you want to see both shows even better, two entirely different shows, it's entirely different. At the Zappos corporate headquarters, downtown Vegas. Tickets on sale now at MikeO'MaraShow.com, but only while they last. There will be no sympathy given if you do not get your tickets for the second show. because they are going fast.
Do it.
And we have given you plenty of notice. The TMOS 10th Anniversary Spectacular brought to you by Zappos. Thank you. And now back to the end of the Oscars world segment.
Yeah, it's
so did you patch
Justin
it up
Schlegel
with...
v. Oscar Santana.
All right. Did you? So you said he was stealing intellectual property.
Well, we
Is that what you
alleged
said?
that.
right.
We weren't carrying that
You theorized
our scarlet letter that we thought was going to turn into what it turned into. I fortunately was able to, as Justin is an adult and I'm an adult, to get on the horn with Justin and say, hey, like, we're just doing a show. We clearly, I said, I take full responsibility for this because I took it to the next level. And I am mortified that this fallout from our wonderful listeners has become an issue for you. And I would like to patch things up. I want to be very clear that we all love you. We have few allies, as we both discussed in this business, and you are one of them, and vice versa. And it's nothing that I know I want to be a part of. I will clear things up. I will come on Big O and Dukes, and I'm here on the Mike O'Mara show, saying that all is well in our relationship with Justin Schlegel, but also that esteem that we talked about before the program and organically in this past segment, that is true.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the guy is fantastic. So much so that I asked him, since I'm doing Thursdays now, because Drab T-Shirt's become the assistant program director at WJFK, alone with Rob Ford, I asked him to come on the Big O and Dukes Thursday show and actually do a show with me at a certain point in the near future.
To be clear, because you were vague in that statement, Rob Ford is not also the assistant program director at WJFK.
No.
You are doing that show here with Rob Ford.
Rob runs my board.
Right. He's the
And
Ford.
I have to talk to myself.
Ford op.
Justin, this is Mike. I am so sorry for Oscar's behavior. I truly just, he flies off the handle, and
well, I'm like a pit bull.
I'm
like the Spuds McKenzie pit bull. I look like it's fun, and then once in a while, I will have 150 shots of beer, and then boom.
That's a great analogy.
Disciplinary action will be taken on my show.
That's good.
I just want you to know that. That's true. And Justin, you're welcome to come on here and tell us your side of the story and what you endured anytime you wish. Now, one last thing before we button this up. What came out of this was something along the lines of opening acts in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And I knew nothing about that. Nobody talked to me about that. And I don't know why. Someone might have mentioned that Justin may have been opening. We've talked about people opening for us, but we have not talked about Schlegel opening for us.
We had this conversation, Mike.
No, you talked about two other people.
No, you asked me to reach out to him.
Yeah, but you there was never any confirmation.
No,
to me
I said I was going to reach out to him this past week before this controversy.
This is what I was talking about to you.
Yeah, but you told us, and everybody in the room was here when that happened.
Yeah, but you didn't get back to me on that.
Because I haven't gotten confirmation yet.
Okay, well, how did that eke through? Because I never had a conversation with it on anything. How did that eke through to social media? Was somebody drinky and sharing that on another show?
That's what I just said. That's what I just said.
Well, Rob, help me out here. What did you just say? I'm totally confused.
First off, nothing's been confirmed. That has not been confirmed. We have not talked about that on the air.
Well, that
as far as who's going to open,
I haven't heard anything.
But we talked about it off air. You and I,
talking about how did it get on social media?
I got hammered and spilled the beans.
There
these
it
people.
is. There he
yes.
is. That's it.
Yes.
Did you see the fucking deflection that he does?
He's deflecto. Yeah. It happens.
He's so defensive. He tries to
If you would listen to Big O and Dukes, you would know.
No, that's not my job to listen to Big O and Dukes.
Don't you want to support?
I don't listen to my show. I do the show. I don't listen to the show.
But this is the second consecutive week that this show has used the phrase "spill the beans," and I love that.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. No, we talked about it, and then suddenly I see this, and I'm like going, "What?
What? Huh?
You
what?"
Know? Yeah. I mean, I said, so be careful when you're drinking 50 shots and stuff like that. Come on.
No animals were hurt. I would say some relationships were mended.
It's not like you're Jimmy John.
I was not on African safari.
No.
That did not happen. And I was a better man than most. I did not just
let me
put
ask
it to the
this.
wayside. Yes.
Let me ask this.
Yes.
So obviously, did someone else, and I know you don't want to throw him under the bus, did someone else mention on his show that he wouldn't be doing that because of what was said?
No.
Is that possible?
No.
Okay.
No, I was the only one. I was the listeners.
You were the one.
I was the only one.
The listeners put it together and they theorized themselves.
I was the only one.
And that's typical.
By the way, since it's out there on social media, I would love to have Justin.
Of course.
For one of the shows.
That's what
there.
I talked to him about.
Yeah. Well, where does it stand? Is it
He's
a
got to
possibility
look at
he'd
his
like to do?
Ravens schedule.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I'd love to see that.
It
happen.
all depends if it's a 1 o'clock or a 4 o'clock.
Yeah. He does not have a Baltimore accent.
The man doesn't even live in Baltimore.
I was speaking as the schedule.
I got it.
I was giving it life.
Rob, I would say Rob Mayer is 90%. Joe also works on the Ravens broadcast, so we're going to see what happens there. But we will confirm all of this ASAP.
Yes.
Justin Schlegel from Mike O'Mara once again. I'll be talking to Oscar about going to meetings. We have to break now. Thank you very much. It's time to do that, and we'll see what happens as we continue. And when we come back, news you may not need. Yeah, I just saw this, and on social media, I'm like,
what's all this then?
What? Yeah, but I'll tune in more often. I've listened.
I think you should triple the amount of times that you've listened this year.
All right. Done. We'll be right back with more fun on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Yeah. Phony phone.
The Yak Shack line is ringing. The Yak Shack line is ringing.
It's time to cheer. The Yak Shack's here. So call up when you're full of beer. We're all in store for fun rapport. Call 888-920-MORE. That's 888-920-MORE.
Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. What did he say?
What'd you say?
That's your Baltimore accent. Every time when he is, more.
Yeah, that's true. Good call, Pony.
I'll be listening for that next time. This portion of the Mike O'Mara Show brought to you by Free Fly. When you're running around outside, whenever you start the commercial with that, I want to do Michael's thing. When you're running around outside and you need a box of Tide, diarrhea. No, they don't want diarrhea in their commercial. I'm sorry.
Of course not. That's just
This is a commercial for Free Fly. This is a great company. Disregard everything I'm doing. It's been a week. Free Fly is designed for outdoorsmen and women. Yeah, I'll tell you something that they're going to remember this commercial.
Yes,
people
they will.
Listening to it.
Yes.
If you like that poem, when you're sliding into home and you feel a bit of foam diarrhea, you buy a Free Fly item today just to make that my terrible read for their product.
It's a vote.
Does that help?
It will, for one thing, it enforces confidence.
Free Fly is clothing. It's designed for outdoorsmen and women who don't settle for uncomfortable stuff to wear. Butter soft bamboo fabric designed for perfect comfort. Honestly, it's like wearing nothing. I wear my shorts every day. I have my golf shorts and I have my dog walking shorts. Free Fly makes my dog walking shorts. Do they say dog walkers on them? No, they're good. Stop it. Perfect tops and bottoms for any outdoor activity. And are you hearing me okay? It's that time of the day.
Yes.
It's that time of the goddamn day. Comcast, asswipe, Comcast, crap, cable, monopoly. Fuck you!
He's my favorite announcer, Dog Walker.
I'll do a separate commercial for Free Fly. Anyway, time to stop being... Are you hearing my audio?
You're perfect on our end.
And you look and seem beautiful.
Thank you. It's time to stop being uncomfortable and start wearing Free Fly's bamboo clothing. Father's Day right around the corner.
Yes.
I'm not going to make it, but you will. So gear up for Dad now. Plus, you can get 20% off when you visit freeflyapparel.com and use promo code TMOS. Freeflyapparel.com, promo code TMOS, and we thank you.
News.
Loud.
Boo. What's that Tide guy again? I've never heard of it before.
Oh.
You're frozen. Am I frozen?
You're fine.
All right, I'll do this.
What's the Tide line again?
The commercial starts like this. It says, when you're running around outside and you need a box of Tide. I made that up. On Ellen yesterday, Tom Hanks said he was denied beer at the Stagecoach Festival. What is the Stagecoach Festival?
I think that's a country music festival, I believe.
Really? I didn't know Tom was an aficionado of the country music.
He's a country music aficionado when he has a movie to promote.
Okay. He'd gone up to the beer stand, but they wouldn't serve him. Do you think this is all just made up Hollywood stuff?
It might have happened. Who knows? But I mean, he does play Woody in Toy Story 4.
Yeah, that's true. He didn't have a bracelet providing that he was allowed to drink. They told him he had to go get his ID verified, get a bracelet, and come back. Obviously, he thought that it was ridiculous because he's 62 and he's Tom freaking Hanks, but they wouldn't budge. Oh, yeah, this is completely a contrived story. He even tried to bribe them with tickets.
Oh, to what? The new movie?
Yeah. Thank you, Rob Spiewak there.
Church story.
Rob is just done so.
You're not an everyman.
No.
By the way, you don't stand in line for beers. They bring them to you.
You know what he is? He's a no man.
I just got sucked into that.
They've poisoned the water hole.
One notch lower on my belt.
There's a snake in my boot.
Yes, my supreme apologies. I love to put my lady. Let me do that again. Thank you, my lady Jennifer Garner. You know I love her, and she went to Denison. She went to Denison College to give the graduating speech, the commencement address, because she went there. She graduated.
Okay.
And she gave some advice to life tips for the graduates. Here they are. Don't walk down the Grand Canyon to see what it looks like from the bottom. It's great from the top. You should do that, but when you get to the bottom, it's just a big hill, and it's a pain in the ass to climb back up.
That's nice.
Boy,
That's good.
if I had a commencement address like that, I would have smiled and loved it, and that would have been good enough for me. She says, don't smoke, don't vape. We know vaping smells like maple syrup or pineapple or cotton candy, whatever it is, but now you're going to be adulting. It's not cute. Don't do it. Number 3, I'm going to say this because I'm quoting Jennifer Garner. I'm going to say this because everyone says it, but you won't listen because nobody does. Nothing looks better in your 50s than sunscreen in your 20s.
Good advice.
Very true.
That's so Hollywood, though. My God. Number 4, when it comes to Halloween costumes, go funny over sexy. Why would you dress like a flirty nurse when you could be a mailbox? She's so cute. Isn't she cute as a
She's adorable.
A mailbox you don't take home after the party, though.
That's right. I'd like to see her as the nurse.
That'll be when Oscar Santana addresses West Virginia University.
Yes.
That'll be happening any moment.
Number 5. This I think maybe for no means no. Mixed signals are not mixed signals. They're a no. Yeah, okay. She was very firm, but she got a big applause line for that. Number 6, impose self-discipline around 3 things. Have a book on your bedside table at all times and read it, obviously. Be in charge of your consumption of social media and foster a sense of humor about yourselves because otherwise you run the risk of being boring. It was so Jennifer Garner. It was so vanilla, but it was so cute.
Sweet.
And
I like that. I like the mailbox thing.
Yeah. Carla walked by me this morning like super early, and I'm watching the whole commencement address. She said, don't you have to do show prep and like tape a show at 8 a.m.? I said, yeah. Why are you watching the entire commencement address? I don't know.
Is someone jelly?
Did you say,
number 7.
Carla, could you go get me some sunscreen?
Number 7, if you're a woman, and pardon me for being binary for just a second, the stage has been set. The world is yours to grab. Go about it and get it, girls. So she was talking to the ladies. And finally, stay close to your friends from college. You've just spent 4 years hanging out with them. That history is invaluable. Work friends you talk to about work. Lovers you talk about love and dinner reservations. But friends from college, you can talk to them about anything, and you can do nothing with them and still be happy. But friends from Denison are there forever. That's very
valid.
sweet.
I like that.
Very nice, Jennifer Garner. You want to hear about George Clooney's motorcycle accident or not?
Yes.
I would love to.
He said it was bad. Let me see. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, he said, quote, I hit another guy at, let me see. He had a motorcycle accident, and he said, I hit him at 70 miles per hour, so it was bad. I split my helmet in half. It knocked me out of my shoes. It hit hard. It was bad, and I was just waiting for the switch to turn off because I broke his windshield with my head. I thought, okay, well, that's my neck. He added, quote, if you get 9 lives, I got all of them used up in one, so I can let go of the motorcycle riding for a while. So I don't think he's riding anymore.
Can you imagine getting knocked out of your shoes?
Well, remember the video while grainy.
Yeah,
it was shot off Italy, the scooter,
right? As I recall,
right into the windshield of a car.
Very scary. We all want to be liked, but if you try too hard, it can backfire. Here are 5 things that can instantly make people like you less. Humble bragging. That's where you pretend to be self-deprecating, but you're really saying something positive about yourself. That's horrible. Number 2, including a smiling emoji in work emails. We don't do smiling emojis.
We do thumbs up.
We do thumbs up a lot of
thumbs
times.
up. I find it quicker. Number 3, using an extreme close-up as your profile pic. No, I'm not going to do that.
Don't do it.
I'm sorry.
But that's Rob's bit.
Sometimes. Not all the time. Not all the time.
Like every third month.
All right, number 4, sharing too many photos of the same people. According to research, friends don't like seeing too much of your family, and your family doesn't like seeing too many friend photos. So you might want to consider a more balanced approach.
I think that may be the one thing I think is BS on this. I don't mind. Well, for me at least, I don't mind seeing family.
Yeah, I like
because
that.
if that's your world, that's your world.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Never talking about yourself. Well, that's what we do on this show.
Yeah.
Asking questions is a common tip we hear because most people like talking about themselves, but you can ask too many. When you never talk about yourself, it's harder for people to feel close to you. So that's it. That's all.
That's fair.
all
I
have.
don't like, and I think we've addressed this on the show, when someone's like, "Hey, what's the best razor to buy someone for Christmas?" And you're like, "Google."
Yeah, and what I don't like when
Take a
people
moment.
say, "I'm just leaving this here."
Yes.
Because it's like they're distancing it from something that's really not worthy of posting anyway.
Yesterday morning, Burger King posted a very short tweet saying, quote, "Got student loans? What's your cash tag?" A cash tag is your username on Cash App, which was one of those apps where people can make payments to each other. It's like Venmo, PayPal, Me, and the rest. Burger King hasn't said a word about what they meant, but tens of thousands of people have responded to the tweet so far, hoping it's BK deciding to pay off everyone's student loans. Of course, Burger King is known for its trolling in their marketing, and they mostly troll McDonald's. So if this is a joke, it could backfire badly. And now a little something. A guy named David Herring was driving in Fort Pierce, Florida last week.
Where is that?
And I don't know. In Fort Pierce, Florida. Okay, Mike.
So, you want to know my name?
Don't like it.
Fuck you.
That's my name.
That's right. I got him today, man.
What?
A guy named David Herring was driving in Fort Pierce, Florida last night. That's the way I do it. I really do think it's like that at home. I
You
really
shouldn't
do.
look at it that way.
I got him today. That fuck. Anyway.
I don't think it's that deep.
No, I don't either, but I think it might be. The cops saw him and immediately got behind this guy in Florida to pull him over. But even though their lights were flashing, David kept driving. When he finally pulled over, he explained, what are you showing? What's going on? What are you doing?
The news bed stopped. I started the news bed again.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Anyway, when he finally pulled over, he explained the delay. He had his pants down and he was receiving sexual favors from his passenger. Now, we should note that the passenger was 55-year-old Rhonda Oppenhofer. And she had a Bud Light between her legs, a crack pipe by her feet, and a crack rock in her mouth. She was arrested for cocaine possession, tampering with evidence, and possession of drug equipment. David was not arrested. Florida, you never know what you'll find in somebody's mouth. There it is. All right, there you go. Sorry. She is, and there's a lovely picture of her that I will not share because this is an audio podcast. She's lovely. We'll take a break and come back with the audio vault if you want it. I don't care. Caution, ladies and gentlemen, the promo starts now. O'Reilly here. Hey, did you know the Mike O'Mara Show is always looking for interns? Did you know that? Huh? Did you know that? Well, you should. Of course they are. You know, interns, they show up, they get coffee, they help out. You know the drill. And if you're a college kid and you want to get your foot in the broadcast door, just email your resume and a letter of intent to Rob, that's with 2 B's, at MikeO'MaraShow.com. That's Spiewak Kid. He's your liaison. Spiewak! Best of all, every intern at TMOS is treated with respect and class, a professional environment. And if that part doesn't matter to you, I have a podcast too. Come intern at The Factor, where things can get a little handsy. Know what I mean? We'll do it live. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show, brought to you by the TMOS bonus packages. Let's face it, brunch has ruined everything.
Yeah.
You can't just combine 2 distinct meals into one loosey-goosey buffet feeding. What is it? Early lunch, late breakfast? I want to know. Do you have to eat twice as much? Should there be waffles or roast beef, eggs, smoked fish, juice, booze? Who the fuck knows? You see, it's important to have that. He wrote it. I didn't. I just said it. You see, it's important to have something stand on its own, separate and proud, like the TMOS bonus show. It's an entirely different entity than the Daily O'Mara Show. And you must respect it, honor it, subscribe to it. A 6th episode of TMOS every week can be yours for a few extra pennies. Plus, you'll get access to all the bonus content, and you'll be helping TMOS. Please buy our thing. It's the best thing you could ever do. Trust me. Plus, bottomless mimosas. And by bottomless, I mean we're not wearing pants. Thank you. And now, without further ado, I don't know. Let's open up the audio vault.
Mike, am I the only one on campus today that watched the live version of All in the Family and the Jeffersons?
You have to be. You have to be.
It was
you
so
and several of your
cringy.
closest friends. Well, you were all talking about how cringy it was, but it was, you were all watching it still.
Yeah, it was. I watched it because it was sort of an event because it was live and it was.
It didn't get any social media buzz at all.
No,
so
I was
don't
shocked
know
about
how
it.
Big a deal.
Because
But,
it's not relevant. All in the Family for the social media world, I feel, isn't something that's going to create buzz.
But I feel that if you do a live television event on ABC hosted by Jimmy Kimmel, it sort of gives it some relevance, doesn't it? Because it's happening.
It does, but Mike is right. My feed has nothing about this. Maybe one guy will be like, it was bad.
But
like, I know there's an old show called Laugh-In that I was curious at, and they had something that they're promoting about Laugh-In, and I said, oh, that's interesting. If I hadn't seen, and I didn't see the thing about All in the Family, so I missed it. But then when I heard about it, well, I don't want to see a reboot of it. It didn't work.
The Hills is getting more buzz. That should tell you something.
Your choice was smart. Here's the theme as sung by Woody Harrelson and Marissa Tomei.
Wide awake, Glenn Miller play. Songs that made the hit parade. Guys like us, we had it made. Those were the days.
And Harrelson really overdid sort of a bad Carol O'Connor impression, like saying Goyle, little Goyle.
So cringe is the word.
Cringe
right?
is the word, yeah.
Oh.
Jennifer Hudson did the Jeffersons theme.
Oh, now see, this is okay. God, she's just so talented. I love her.
And they sang it live with the piano and backup singers, yeah.
But it wasn't a Jeffersons.
No, they did an episode of each.
Oh, they did.
And there was a nice surprise is when it was the episode of the Jeffersons that they rebooted was the one where they hired Florence the maid. And they did not announce this ahead of time. When the door opened, it was Marla Gibbs.
When you say, and the Jeffersons was the one where they hired the maid.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to nod like I remember that?
Well, no, but you see, this is key to the episode because when the maid comes in for the first time, it was Marla Gibbs who played the maid in the original
but
Jeffersons.
I mean, it's just nobody remembers
Who
that.
played Wheezy?
Wheezy was played last night.
That's all I remember.
Who was originally.
Because it used to be on
Wanda
in the
Sykes,
afternoon.
Wanda Sykes played Wheezy last night.
Which was less cringeworthy?
The Jeffersons actually seems to have aged better, but what was weird, and it was a weird thing, they used the original script, and it had the N-word in it 2 or 3 times. They had to bleep it. So that lets you know how far we've come, that they would use the original script.
Or how backwards we've traveled.
Yeah, it was just weird.
It would
very,
make
very
sense
weird.
to probably get that out of the script as you have a time to update, I would imagine.
And because
Who
it was
played George Jefferson?
George Jefferson was played by Jamie Foxx, and he had the one.
Oh, God. Of course it was.
And because it was an episode where he had a small part on the All in the Family as well, because it was a spinoff, he had the one noticeable mess up on live television.
Ever since I was a little boy, I would always beg my mother for a little brother. But we was broke, so all is live. Everyone sitting at home just think their TV just messed up. All we could afford was you.
And that was the only noticeable flub that it was live. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was. I did a lot of head shaking. And by saying the Jeffersons was better is not really praising the Jeffersons, just saying it's how it went down. So that happened. And if that was some sort of experiment to do something in the future, I don't think it's going to happen
I
again.
was watching the 3rd episode of Chernobyl.
Ah!
Which is much more thrilling.
I was going to say probably equally as pleasant.
Yes.
Did you finish it? Did you finish with the
3rd episode?
How about those miners cooling off?
Man, did they know how to work out?
Hey, Mac, I got a laugh from Mac on that one. The miners cooling off. You remember the naked miners, huh?
I saw nudity at the beginning when they have the disclaimer. I'm like, I see some radiation sex.
Didn't think that's what it was going to be. Oh, boy.
Full frontal, a lot of it.
Wow, yes, sirree. Twigs and berries.
No nudity in the All in the Family, just so you know.
What a shame.
Okay. There's been a legend for years that in San Francisco back in the 60s, they built a synthesizer by the Grateful Dead. I think it was someone associated with the Grateful Dead, built a musical synthesizer, but they coated it with LSD. So when you were performing in concert, all you had to do was lick your finger, touch it to your tongue, and you could trip while you were performing with a synthesizer. This is an ancient legend in San Francisco, and whether or not it's true, no one ever really knew until they got this television engineer in San Francisco to restore this synthesizer because of its musical and historical relevance. And guess what? He tripped.
A crust or crystalline residue on it. A strange tingling sensation. It felt like I was tripping on LSD.
Just the jostling of the synthesizer released enough LSD into the air that he was able to trip. And we actually have...
Like from back in the day?
Yes, it was painted on it in the late 60s, and they released it just this week.
So like the half-life of acid is just like radiation.
Forever.
Yes, plutonium.
Yeah. And we actually have, Mike, we'll close with this. We have audio tape of the engineer while he was on his acid trip.
Go, Bob, on my knob. Ass munch.
So that's Pete Johnson.
He had a bad trip.
That's Pete
your
Johnson's,
magic audio moment. Have a good Thursday, everybody.
Another one in the can. Thanks for joining us for another riveting episode of the Mike O'Mara Show. If you have a message you'd like to hear in our Tuesday mailbag, send it to Rob with 2 B's at MikeO'MaraShow.com. Remember, the TMOS bonus show makes a great gift even for yourself. Just go to MikeO'MaraShow.com and click the banner that says gift bonus. Tickets on sale for our Saturday night show in Las Vegas. It is going to be Saturday night, November 16th. Good seats still available, but they are going fast. Buy our second night, the Friday show, no longer available. It is a sellout. For Oscar Santana and Rob Spiewak, this is Mike O'Mara thanking you for your continued amazing support for the best part of your day, the Mike O'Mara Show. So long, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Before you go, please make a mental note. Today's show was made possible by the TMOS bonus packages. You can secure yours right now by going to MikeO'MaraShow.com and clicking on the red bonus banner. Buy it or give it. Either way, you're helping out TMOS, and that's a good thing. Thank you, and go in peace.
Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.
This is Natalia. She is my sister. She is number 4 prostitute in all of Kazakhstan. Nice.
All I ask is a tall ship and a star to sail her by.
I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
Goodbye, Duty.